Hi, I'm Chuck. This is Up Chuck Chops. Thanks for joining me. Today, you see what we have. My fork oil came in. So we're going to fill those up. And if I could get what I wanted when I'm done with this video, I would like to have a roller. I'd like to have the back wheel on, the front wheel on, the front end on. Let's try. Now, I have noticed my frames are not exactly the same as I thought they were the same. Like the battery box bracket. There's not one there. That battery box doesn't seem to fit anywhere that makes sense. This bracket is not on this frame. There's just some differences. I think it's going to be fine. If I need to cut and move things over and do terrible welds on them, then that's what I'll do. Hey, if chopper guys do it, why can't I? They are cooler than me, but I think I can come up with this. Fork oil capacity, 74 to 76, 160 cc's. I Googled it, and cc's equal mLs. KZ400 guys, is this the right stuff? This is as close as I could get. My auto parts store guy had never ever heard of 10-20 weight oil, and he's been around a minute, so he's not really a motorcycle guy though. But it says Lucas on it. It has an American flag, and it has one of the two numbers. It has a 10 in it. This is not a race bike. As long as it dampens some bouncies, we're good. I sure hope I have enough to do both of them. Not leaking out the bottom, that's good. One down. And a little to spare. Two for two. I will tighten these up once they're up in the triple trees. I considered cleaning this. I unconsidered it. I'll deal with it later if I need to. It's not hurting anything. It'll be fine, I'm sure. And like I said in another video, I checked these little ball bearings out pretty well. They seem fine. So I opted to reuse them rather than replace with a different style bearing. Even though this is a little bit of a pain. There you go. Sticky grease holds them still. Now I just have to do the same thing to the top. Gang's all there. Look at that. It's doing what it's supposed to do. I need to tighten this to whatever spec, because once this is on, is that the right order? I gotta do some checking. Something doesn't feel right. I mean, it feels right when I twist it, but in here, I gotta make sure I'm not missing a step, so I'll be back. This needs to be tightened up to 19.5 to 22 foot-pounds. I don't have a socket, so I'm gonna make it tight, not super tight. 20 foot-pounds is really not a lot. That's too tight. I can feel drag. That's pretty good. I really need this frame up a little higher, but I don't want to pull my jack because it's holding that bike up. I think the old drywall bench may come into play. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rearrange. I want so bad just to stick this thing together and run, but I know I'm gonna need to do some grinding and cutting and moving of things and probably a weld or two, so I'm trying not to get all painty and do things like that. Anyhow, this, I call it a drywall bench, this step thing, 3.5-ish feet long. I don't know, not quite 2 feet tall. Best 40 bucks I ever spent. I've had it probably 20 years. I've drywalled with it, painted with it, used it for a sawhorse, used it for a motorcycle stand, all kinds of stuff. These are invaluable. Now back to the work at hand. I gotta cut my zip ties off for the washers I didn't want to lose. I'm gonna do them one at a time because it's how I roll. And that's gonna fall out. Great. Do I put my turn signal sleeves back in? I don't know that's what they're called, but it's the sleeve that goes on the fork that holds the turn signal. I need to strap this frame down so it doesn't want to tip when I put the forks in. Baby steps. Next question, do you need turn signals? Yes, yes I do. I wish these would just clamp on. I guess I could make that happen. I know it's coming back apart anyhow. There's no sense in hanging these. It's part of the process. Right now I need to focus on making a roller and moving things over so I can get it together. That's that. Okay, that's snug. We are on. There we go. Front end's on. That feels pretty nice. The book says you want it to move when lightly pushed under its own power. That's the spec. I think that's pretty reasonable. 27 mils. These service wrenches from Harbor Freight are pretty good. Now I got to put a wheel on. This feels like a pretty heavy duty unit. So it probably does something. I'm gonna go ahead and slide it on in, so I'm not fighting the wheel to get these bolts in. That'll kind of line everything up. Okay, I should be aligned. What I'm really excited to do is see what the handlebars look like on here. Feast your eyes on this feat of hillbilly engineering. I lean the frame up, and I'm holding it with this strap, and I'm gonna have basically a no strain front wheel install. Sometimes I amaze myself. Now I gotta make it short. So I'm pretty much lined up. Pretty much. Gotta jump around to the other side and put those bolts in, pinch bolts. And pinch bolts is probably the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying. Just gonna snug everything, and then I'll set the back end down and steal the other wheel. Speaking of, I think I have another wheel up there. Is it the same? I'm not sure, but I might be able to use it. Time for the old switcheroo. I need some counterbalance. That probably ain't going nowhere. Now I have to get the back wheel shocks, whole bit moved over, and things labeled and whatnot. Looks like a ground to this fender strut bracket thing. Green. Is the left turn signal. I am unsure of the next best thing to do, but I know I need to get the wheel off. So let's get the wheel moved over, and then I can slide the frame up on the bench a little better. This side, get a good look. My brake lever is already loose. I have a spacer, switch hands, spacer, my adjuster, axle nut, not a cotter key, used as a cotter key. On this side, my chain was already off. I have, looks like a spacer right there. Possibly. I can't see it either. My axle adjuster, a nut, and then there's the dinged off edge to grab with a big wrench. That should let the wheel drop out and get out of my way. I rotated you too far. Castle nut, washer, adjuster, I don't know what would stop this from sliding out. I have to make sure you are lined up to see what drops. Back to the bargain bin rubber hammer. I need a drift. This is not a drift, but it'll do the job. I want to use the fat end. All right, the axle gave, it's nearly out. Okay, there's something interesting here. Probably because I've not dealt with drum brakes. My hub started separating, but it's not coming out. And I have a nut here. So I'm gonna try and break that loose. Not sure what's gonna happen. See what I'm saying? That is 32 millimeters right there. It might have helped if I'd read the book, but I didn't. Nut. Whole things. There went a washer. At least I saw that one. Oh, what am I hung on? What am I hung on? Now I'm in a bind. Well, if something bends, it bends. This rod's still attached. Washer, lock washer, and we're free. Well, while we're here, let's do a little inspecting. Those brakes are toast. I have other brakes. Wheel bearing is shot. I feel a lot of crunch. There's not a lot of movement, but that number right there, you can really feel the crunches. It looks like I have 3 different hubs, brake parts and whatnots that I can source from right here in the shop. I am not in love with this sprocket. I think I could get a new one, but what I'm trying to say is we're going to slide this one on there so it rolls. Bargain bin hammer. I'm putting it together as much whole or as wholly as some of this stuff is coming off, because I don't want to have to remember when I disassemble for final assembly and lockdown and everything. This will let me see what changes I need to make and how everything's going to fit. All right, breaking down continues. Sometimes it's kind of nice to work without the book. Could it be helpful? Yes. But stuff like this, I have enough confidence that I'm probably going to get in trouble. Acorn nut, washer. Is that another washer? Possibly. Okay, lock washer first, then a regular washer. Lower bolt with a lock washer. I have to repeat the process on the other side. I also have to finish taking this sissy bar loose. I almost like the sissy bar. Oh, there's notches in that. Even if I don't use this on this bike or reuse it, I'm gonna keep it because I might need it on something else. And thus the hoarding begins, or continues, however you want to say it. Over the parts pile, slide out. I'll bring that immediately over to the new old bike. Fingers crossed it fits. Okay, sweet. The last thing I need to do to have a roller is a way to steer. Kind of see it now. Whoops. I might hate that hand position. I think it looks cool though, so it'll probably be worth it. I would like to fit a kickstand. It would be nice to lean it over on a kickstand if I needed to, if I had to move it in or out of the shop. I'm excited. Let's do that and see if we can figure it out. And then this will probably be a wrap. I think this is the correct spring. I think. This is the first time this bike has been on its own 2 feet, so to speak, since I've owned it, and that's been a few years. And a long, long time before that. This is making me happy. I'm a long way from the finish line, but it's looking like a bike. Before I forget, I'm going to tighten these fork caps down, because I couldn't. Well, I could have put them back in the vise, but it just didn't make sense when I could slide it in here, tighten the pinch bolts, and then snug them up. Okay, now kickstand. I have a roller. I'll even prove it to you. See? It rolls. I went ahead and put my kickstand on and the spring so I can use it. And I put the pegs on just because I needed those on, at least the left side, for that spring. I can finish tightening those down later. It's gonna be a little snug, I ain't gonna lie. Of course, there is gonna be seat taking up space for my legs, but I'm happy to have a roller. What would be cool is if I could make a bracket for like a highway peg almost, coming off of my engine mounts, but my shocks are doing shock things. I don't know if I'm gonna love the handlebars, but like I said earlier, I think they look cool. I think right there's a happy medium. Exciting. Now the part that I am least good at. Well, I don't know that because I've not done much with it, but I got to start moving electricals over and seeing if I can get this thing to cough to life and see what else I'm missing or broken or don't have. But I have a rolling motorcycle. This feels pretty cool sitting like this. Let me enjoy my moment. If you watched this far, thanks for watching. I sure do appreciate it. I like all your comments, concerns, questions, all that stuff. But that's gonna wrap this video. I'll catch you later.